The Liverpool City Region, new tall towers for the King Edward Triangle, urban transformation in Bootle, and what's Bootle got in common with Mayfair in London? Central Docks and Stadium, a Tidal Barrage, Woodside, Hind Street Birkenhead, a new Mersey Ferry. We travel by train, by bike, by Google Earth and plane. A glimpse at what's just round the corner on both sides of the river. Are these projects not game-changing? Hello and welcome to Aid Eyewitness. In this update from Liverpool, I'm going to go on an extended cycle and Merseyrail ride around some of the major development projects currently happening on both sides of the River Mersey. And I'm going to ride my Brompton bike across the river. How am I going to do that? You'll find out. But first, I want to take a look at a completed project on Lime Street. This student development on Lime Street was delayed because of objections to the demolition of the futurist cinema. I remember reading in the Liverpool Echo that certain members of the council were very keen that the old buildings should be demolished so that the new student residents could go ahead. They were in a very bad state, and the delay due to objections was costing the council a lot of money. The futurist cinema was demolished in 2016. Today we can see how on the corner of Lime Street we have traditional facades, then the new facade, which presents a series of panels with line artwork representing aspects of local heritage. That's all that remains of the futurist cinema. There was an alternative plan put forward by Save Britain's Heritage to restore the futurist cinema facade and to build or rebuild traditional style facades on either side, but that didn't happen. Was this the best compromise under the circumstances? Or should they have kept or recreated the old facades, including the futurist? Maybe they could have made a replica, as they're doing at Littlewoods on Edge Lane. I've linked a couple of relevant articles below. Okay, now we're going to cycle down to Liverpool Central Station. I bought a Merseyrail day saver ticket for £6.40. Beyond the barriers, these windows have been etched with photos of the old Central Station. We can visualise what was lost and how it might have looked today if things had been different. So here comes our train.
The train on platform 2 is your service for Southport.
I love the views west over the river as the train makes its way north to Bootle and Southport.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff and text police 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sorted.
That's the nearly completed Hartley Locks residential development. Let's check out the stages of construction, which began around 2 years ago. Then the concrete framework appeared, with no inkling of the final brick facade, which later became visible under the scaffolding, and this is how it looks today. Nice arch patterns in the brickwork next to the balconies, and nice views over the railway on one side and the nearly completed Everton Stadium on the other. We're leaving the city of Liverpool behind now and entering Sefton Borough. As we approach Bootle, we can see the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. So Bootle also has high-rise apartments. This one is called Stella Nova. There seems to be a lack of information about buildings and developments around here. Seems like Bootle is a forgotten corner. According to the Liverpool Echo, Stella Nova was completed in 2003, cost £17 million. More in the article linked below. The Strand Shopping Centre is to undergo extensive redevelopment as part of Bootle's town centre transformation. It has a classic 60s style design. Like countless others, it looked busy and well attended by the local community when I visited. That is the Triad building, a striking office tower. Again, very little information about it, though one webpage stated it was constructed for the tax office between 1971 and 1974. Architects Hind Woodhouse Partnership. We'll hear that name Hind again later in the video. It's got 21 floors, so it must be around 70 metres or 230 feet. It's strikingly similar in shape to the Hilton Hotel on Park Lane, London. That's 100 metres tall, 28 stories, built in 1963. If the Triad building were situated in London, we can only speculate how much more it would be worth. It's a prime example of the North-South divide, and maybe there's also a North-South divide within the Liverpool City Region as well. There are quite a few offices in the centre of Bootle, including this one, the Investment Centre. I did a search for what is there to see in Bootle, and this is what I found. Yes, I think this AI overview thing still needs some work. I prefer to get my information from reputable, trusted, named information sources. So let's just go for a wander into North Park, which is overlooked by attractive housing stock on the western side. There's no reason why Bootle shouldn't be a great place to live. with this nice park with sports facility, play area, and other parks too. Oh yes, and it looks like spring has arrived in Bootle. The crocuses are out. Yeah, and the daffodils have come out in sympathy. Sorry about that. Around this time of year, I always crack that joke about strikes in the 1970s. Yes, there's no reason why Bootle shouldn't be a great place to live, with its proximity to the city centre and frequent bus and train services. Now we are looking at the Leeds and Liverpool Canal to the south of the shopping centre, which is going to be rebuilt at that end to make it more open and link up with the canal, which at the moment doesn't really offer the most photogenic view. There are some attractive traditional houses on the south side of the shopping centre, and these offices contain government departments. The National Gyro Bank building was a landmark, but its demolition began in 2024. There's Salt and Tar, the canal-side outdoor event space, named after products that were produced around here in the past. There are plenty of buses running along Stanley Road, the main north-south axis, and some attractive waterside houses. In the past, canals were seen as a dreary relic of the industrial era, but now we realise that they are a great asset. Finally, let's have a look at some visualisations of what the town centre transformation of Bootle is going to look like. I'll be back to check progress. Now we head back south into the city of Liverpool and look through the window, and what's that? Lots of German. These are names of companies who built the trains. Train builders Stadler are based in Switzerland. Schaltbau Bode and Wernberg are in Germany. More panoramic views to the west, and new tall buildings will be arising in central docks just on the left hand side if all goes to plan. After a short bike ride from James Street Station, we arrive at Prince's Dock, and there it is, the new residential tower, Patagonia Place. These are the stages of construction, and there it is finished. I really must get a stash of Lego bricks so I can build miniature versions of these tall buildings, like I did as a child. But what's that? Lichthaus. There's been a name change, and it's German. No, it's Lighthouse, with house spelt the German way, H-A-U-S, like those kitchen shops. It was bought by a Canadian company, Starlight Management. Does it live up to expectations? Let's move to the King Edward Triangle just behind Prince's Dock. This small industrial park was once on the periphery. Now it's at the heart of a major redevelopment area. Overlooking it are the Beetham Tower and West Tower. On this relatively small area, a new cluster of tall buildings will be constructed, and this is the first drawing of what the tall buildings may look like, issued by the developers. Now let's cycle around past the new Isle of Man ferry terminal and check the progress of this apartment building by Romal Capital, whose head office is just round the corner on Jesse Hartley Way. Here's the construction at an earlier stage. It's called Aquitania, part of West Waterloo Place. Just to the north of here is the former dockland, to be transformed into central docks with a major new park and lots of tall buildings. The new stadium is science fiction-like. It could almost take off and fly up into the sky. I'll be tracking this area as it develops over the construction period. Keep watching Aid and Eyewitness. So I'm going to cycle across the River Mersey. Bit windy going across there, but now I'm in Seacombe. Okay, that wasn't very convincing, but you get the idea. I can't cycle across the Mersey yet, but eventually it will be possible if and when the planned Mersey Tidal Barrage is built. It would probably be located closer to the mouth of the Mersey, although as we can see, the docks would get in the way of it on the Liverpool side. Earlier plans placed the barrier further up the River Mersey. The promotional information is very aspirational. How are the ships going to get in and out? I would imagine it's probably some kind of lock, like the one at La Rance in France, another tidal project. The Liverpool City Region has been consulting with specialists from Korea involved with the Siwa tidal power plant. The Swansea Bay Tidal Lagoon project was rejected for cost reasons, but maybe this one, the Mersey Tidal Barrage, will go ahead. Keep watching Aid and Eyewitness. So now let's take a look at those visualisations of the buildings planned for the King Edward Triangle as seen from Seacombe. In March 2025, the developers released another image showing a collection of tall structures of different heights, a total of 8 new towers. Now, it's difficult to figure out which are the new ones and which are the existing ones, so I've separated them out. We can compare the view today with how it might look in the future. It's said they wanted to present an impressive skyline of tall buildings to people arriving on ferries and cruise liners. But how does this match up to other maritime cities? And as I complete this video, it's been announced that the developers want to attract a 5-star hotel to the tall tower. And also that architect Ian Simpson may be joining the design team. Beetham, Tom Morris, founder of the Home Bargains chain, and architects Brock Carmichael are coordinating the scheme. Seacombe Ferry Terminal looks quite busy. The Mersey Ferry's commuter and river cruise services call in here. The Eureka Science and Discovery Experience has been open for over 2 years now. We're now going to head down to Birkenhead to check out the site of a major new urban village that is about to go ahead. As we cross by East Float, we look across towards the new Miller's Quay multicoloured residential buildings. Here's a shot I took earlier in the construction phase. We arrive at Woodside Ferry Terminal. I've had many happy visits here, crossing the ferry, visiting Woodside Ferry Terminal Village, riding on the tram and visiting the Submarine Museum. But in early 2025, it's deserted. No ferries operate from here now, at least not for the present. Woodside Ferry Terminal is being refurbished and a major regeneration project is going ahead here at Woodside. The U-boat will be the centrepiece of an exciting visitor experience about the Battle of the Atlantic during the Second World War. Looking forward to that. We can see how the entire landing stage has been demolished, giving us an interesting view of the bow of the U-boat. We head through Birkenhead past Hamilton Square, cycling along Argyle Street. Hamilton Square really reminds me of Edinburgh. It was developed by James Gillespie Graham in the early 19th century. He came from Edinburgh. We're heading to Hind Street, just to the south of the town centre, past the Queensway Tunnel exit. But where is it exactly? Phew, talk about dystopian environments. We've definitely got one here under the flyovers. They were built in the 60s to carry traffic to and from the tunnel. Concrete heavy, not pedestrian friendly, dotted with dislocated heritage landmarks like the historic station to the left, the King Edward VII Memorial Clock Tower, as well as careworn buildings and a car park. It seems like all this is the result of a succession of bad planning decisions taken down the decades, resulting in an environment most people would prefer to avoid. But the plans for the new Hind Street urban village aim to put this right. But where is Hind Street? It must be around here somewhere. That name reminds me of the sketch by the two Ronnies when they satirise upper-class accents. Hind Street, that's H-I-N-D, not Hind, H-O-U-N-D. I drink at the Hare and Hinds in Heswall. No, it's H-I-N-D. I keep looking at the map and I still can't find it. And that's Argyle Street South, the continuation of Argyle Street, which was cut in half by the flyovers. I love how they've kept the old lettering on Birkenhead Central Station. Ah yes, there it is. Hind Street, H-I-N-D. The location of a new urban village with lots of new houses, attractive gardens, pathways, roads, play areas, with connections to the town centre and the lush green linear park. At least that's what it will be like when it's finished. This is the site of the old gasworks. Let's have a view from Google Earth over the site and we can see the 2 circles where the gas holders used to be. The site will require a lot of remediation work due to the presence of toxic substances. And cycling along Waterloo Place, I noticed some members of the local community sitting on waste ground, apparently using a different kind of toxic substances. All in all, this whole district will be completely transformed out of all recognition. As in Liverpool, the flyovers will be removed. And by the way, there's an excellent video of the area by YouTuber Mr. Drone UK. Link below. Over at Wirral Council, they're having to take difficult decisions at the moment, but they say they are delivering regeneration. So as we can see, there is much to look forward to in these different parts of the Liverpool City Region on both sides of the Mersey. And let's hope the completed projects live up to expectations. And I hope people will watch my videos in the future to see how things were. That's one of the main reasons why I do this. So let's finish with some views of the magnificent River Mersey from different viewpoints. And there's one final new landmark coming to the River Mersey, a moving landmark. It's the new Mersey Ferry, currently under construction in Camel Laird Shipyard. Nice to see shipbuilding on the Mersey again. It's an example of contemporary shipbuilding technology, but it retains the classic look of Mersey ferries with the black, white and red colour scheme. I understand the funnel is just there for cosmetic purposes. I also read that the vessel could be converted to full electric operation at a later stage. It's going to be called the Royal Daffodil. The new ferry is due to arrive in 2026. As you can see, I am presenting an independent point of view on urban development, not dry and full of PR language, but with a little bit of humour here and there, hopefully informative and entertaining. Providing people also with an opportunity to comment. All shades of opinion are welcome, as long as they keep to community guidelines, and hopefully using correct spelling and punctuation. I am a language teacher, so just keep that in mind. Please support what I'm doing with a contribution through Buy Me a Coffee, and you could also book on one of my photo walks or for photo tuition. Information below. So as usual, I'll conclude by saying vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und auf Wiedersehen in der Liverpool City Region.